Hey guys, settle in, dim the lights, grab a blanket, maybe a snack that hopefully has less sand in it than anything ancient Egyptians ate, because tonight we're slipping back in time again. But not just for a quick peek. Oh no, tonight, we're living an entire day in the ancient world so deeply, so thoroughly, that by the end of this, you might feel like you need to exfoliate your soul. Preferably with something softer than Nile sand. So breathe in, relax, and let that soft fan hum behind you. Let your room fade out. Because we're going somewhere with heat, gods, desert winds, and a whole lot of daily suffering wrapped in linen. You're about to wake up in ancient Egypt again, but this time, we're not skipping anything. We're living every gritty detail until you practically smell the papyrus and questionable body odor of your neighbors. Before you even open your eyes, the first thing you feel is heat. Not gentle heat. Not warm and cuddly heat. No, this is like the sun broke into your bedroom, looked at you, and decided, yep, I'm cooking that one extra crispy today. The air is already thick, sluggish, and just slightly scented with dust, straw, and whatever your roommate was sweating out last night. Your straw mat feels like it flattened to half its thickness overnight, and your linen blanket, which was barely a blanket to begin with, is clinging to you like a desperate lover. You blink. Light assaults you instantly. No curtains. No blinds. Just early morning Egyptian sunlight slapping you with enough intensity to make you rethink your life choices. And you haven't even had breakfast yet. You sit up and your spine cracks like someone stepping on dry reeds. Your throat tastes like you've been licking pottery shards. Somewhere outside, someone is already yelling about something. A donkey brays in a way that sounds like he's also reconsidering existence. You rub your eyes, but that does nothing except smear a bit of dust around because guess what, you slept with dust. You step outside your mud brick house, and the sun hits you like a flaming chariot launched straight out of Ra's personal furnace. It's early morning and already hotter than any thermostat you've ever used. The kind of heat that sticks to you, crawls under your clothes, slides down your spine like an unwelcome salamander made of fire. You take a few steps forward and feel the ground, already warm enough to fry something small and unfortunate. Your sandals, if you even have sandals, are basically woven suggestions pretending to be footwear. They do nothing. The sand creeps through them as if to say, nice try. As you trudge toward the Nile, wiping sweat from your forehead that immediately gets replaced by more sweat, you hear the buzzing. And not the pleasant kind, like bees near flowers. No, this is the sound of 1,000 flies warming up their wings like a tiny, annoying choir preparing for a day-long performance directly around your head. By the time you reach the river, you're sweating from places you didn't know could sweat. The Nile greets you with its classic charm, murky water, a fresh bouquet of swamp funk, and a suspicious rippling patch that might be a crocodile or might be a floating log. You don't want to find out. You kneel by the edge. The mud squishes between your toes in a way that's both soothing and extremely concerning. The flies immediately form a parade around your ears. Frogs croak. Something splashes. You pray, quietly, politely, that whatever splashed is moving away from you. And then you do your morning bath. If you're imagining soap, don't. Remove soap from your entire brain. Replace it with sand. Yup. You scoop a handful of coarse, scratchy, emotionally damaging sand and rub it across your arms, your legs, your face, everywhere you can reach. Your skin is screaming. Every pore is filing a complaint. But this is just how you remove grease and sweat in a world where soap is basically luxury wizardry. You dunk yourself in the Nile, flinch, and try not to think about the crocodile again. Or the fact that someone upstream definitely did something incredibly unhygienic in this water 2 minutes ago. You wash your clothes by pounding them against a rock like you're trying to send a message to the afterlife. You scrub until the sweat is replaced by silt, which is somehow worse, but at least you're slightly cooler. You walk back home soaked, gritty, but kind of refreshed, until the dry air steals every molecule of moisture from your skin within seconds, leaving you crispy yet sticky at the same time. Ancient Egypt is teaching you new ways to suffer. By the time you make it home, you smell like Nile mud and disappointment. But it's breakfast time. And breakfast, oh breakfast, it's not going to comfort you. Your morning meal is waiting. A wedge of bread so dense it could injure someone if thrown. It's made with emmer wheat and ground between stones, which means sand has snuck in. Not a little sand. Enough sand to add crunch. Every bite grinds your molars flat. Archaeologists can actually identify Egyptian skeletons by their sand-polished teeth. You chew, and chew, and chew, and wonder why your life choices led here. Then there's the beer. Thick. Cloudy. Warm. A drink that feels like someone tried to liquefy bread but gave up halfway. It's filling, it's mildly fermented, and it tastes like sorrow mixed with barley. Kids drink it too. Everybody drinks it. It's not refreshing, but it's safer than water because it's boiled. You sip. Slowly. Carefully. Trying not to think about texture. Maybe you get a dried date. Maybe an onion. Maybe a fly lands on your bread. You wave it away, but it returns with 3 friends because your meal is also their meal. You eat in silence. You breathe hot air. You look around at your neighbors already bent over their work. And you know what's coming next. Work. Hard work. Work that makes modern burnout look like a vacation package with spa access. You walk toward the fields or the construction site or the workshop, depending on what fate assigned you this lifetime. Your back already aches in anticipation. Your hands already sting. You feel the heat rising. The sun climbing. The day stretching impossibly long in front of you. If you're a farmer, the mud sucks at your ankles as you trudge through the fields. You plant. You weed. You sweat. The overseer watches you like he's waiting for you to do something wrong so he can yell at you. If you're a laborer, guess what? You're carving stone, dragging stone, stacking stone. The tools are wooden. The hammers are primitive. Your body is the real machine doing 99% of the work. If you're hauling blocks for a temple wall, you're using ropes that bite into your skin, pulling stones that weigh more than your entire family combined. You slip. That's your foot gone. Maybe your entire day gone. Maybe your entire life. You push on. Because you have to. You try not to complain. You try not to mutter anything. Because complaining? Dangerous. Pharaoh isn't just your king. He's a god on earth. His statue is watching you. His officials are watching you. The sun is watching you. Everyone is watching you, and you work. And you sweat. And you suffer. And the sand gets everywhere, again, because sand is eternal and also evil. The linen sticks to your back. The heat claws at your skin. Your mouth dries. Your fingers blister. You breathe through dust and determination. The day stretches endlessly. And that's just the beginning. The sun climbs higher, dragging the heat with it like a blanket soaked in fire. You wipe your forehead again, but the sweat reappears faster than you can remove it. Someone beside you coughs, dry, dusty, the kind of cough that sounds more like sand leaving someone's lungs than air entering them. You can't blame them. You feel it too. The dryness settles in your throat like you've swallowed powdered limestone, and even the thought of water makes your tongue stick to the roof of your mouth. Lunch? Forget it. There's no lunch break. Lunch is a concept for future civilizations. A privilege for people who know what chairs and shade look like. You work until your stomach starts making whale noises, and even then, your overseer just gives you a look that says, "Work harder, mortal." You look down at your hands and realize the calluses have grown inside your old calluses. Your fingers are stiff, locked in the shape of the tools you've been gripping since sunrise. You shake them out, but that only makes the soreness travel up your forearms, settling in your elbows like someone installed tiny stone weights in your joints. You glance at the horizon. Heat waves shimmer off the sand, bending the world into a wobbly painting that looks like it's melting. In the distance, a dust devil twists itself into existence, swirling like a confused baby tornado trying to figure out which direction will ruin the most lives today. You hope it's not yours. The sun beats down on everything. On you. On the fields. On the half-built stone walls. On the clay pottery left outside to dry. On the backs of donkeys that look like they're contemplating spontaneous retirement. On the workers bent double, dragging ropes across sand so hot it feels like an open flame. Time slows. Minutes stretch. The sun refuses to move. It just hangs there, glaring at you, demanding respect and sweat like some celestial overseer with anger issues. You try to adjust your linen tunic, but it clings to your body, damp and gritty, like someone hugged you with bread dough mixed with sand. You tug at the fabric, but that just rearranges the discomfort to a different part of your torso. Someone nearby groans. Not dramatically, just a low, tired exhale that says, "I have accepted my suffering." You're starting to feel the same. Your thoughts wander. You imagine cool water. You imagine shade. You imagine lying on your straw mat without 100 responsibilities breathing down your neck. You imagine a future where things called fans exist and people can sit in front of them and complain about being kinda warm. You blink sweat out of your eyes and keep working. Every once in a while, your brain tries to sneak in a little complaint, just a tiny whisper of, "Wow, this is terrible," but the stories you grew up with remind you real fast that complaining is practically a sin. You don't risk it. You swallow your misery and keep moving like everyone else around you. In the distance, a temple looms, half-finished, its columns stretching toward the sky like giant stone prayers. Priests move about inside, chanting, burning incense, blessing the construction workers. Or maybe they're blessing the stones. Hard to tell. Either way, they're not blessing you personally. You're too far down the social pyramid for that. Your spiritual benefit is being in the general vicinity. As the day drags on, your muscles burn. Your feet ache. Every step feels like you're walking on needles made of heated gravel. The sun, finally losing some steam, shifts from kill to bake. You can't decide which one is worse. When the overseer finally grunts something that roughly translates to enough, it feels like being released from some ancient cosmic curse. You straighten your back, slowly, wincing as every vertebra protests in its own unique voice. You start the walk home. The village streets are alive with movement. Women carrying jars of water balanced effortlessly on their heads. Kids chasing each other barefoot, apparently immune to both sand and sharp rocks. Goats bleating for no reason other than they must. The smell of firewood, sweat, and whatever someone is cooking drifts lazily through the air. You feel tired. Not just physically. Deep tired. A tiredness that sits behind your eyes and whispers, "You could sleep right here on this ground and not even care." But you keep going. You have responsibilities waiting for you. Before you even get home, someone calls your name. They need help repairing a small break in a wall. They need help moving a basket of grain. They need help because everyone here needs help all the time. Community is everything, not because people are nice, but because survival demands it. You help, because refusing help is like refusing air. It's not a good idea. Finally, you get back to your mud brick home. The inside is dim, cooler than outside, but still warm enough to remind you where you live. Dust hangs in the air, turning every beam of sunlight into a glittering column of floating particles. You sit. Just sit. For the first time today. Your back cracks again. Your shoulders slump. Your eyes half close. For a moment, you think you might fall asleep sitting upright. But your stomach growls. Loud. Angry. reminding you that you burned about 7,000 calories today doing manual labor that historians will one day assume was done by workers, without imagining the personal meltdown you nearly had at noon. Your evening meal isn't ready yet. Someone's still grinding grain. Fine dust rises into the air with each push of the grinding stone. Your lungs are used to this. Probably not happily, but they've stopped resisting. Dinner is coming. Bread. Again. Harder this time. More sand in it somehow, even though that seems impossible. A bit of lentil stew if your household is lucky. Maybe some leftover fish from someone's catch earlier. Lots of flies. Flies who think this is their home too. You inhale your food. You chew. You wince. You swallow. You don't talk much. No one does. Everyone is exhausted in a way that only people who spend all day fighting a hostile climate and manual labor together can understand. When the sun finally dips below the horizon, the air cools just slightly, just enough to trick you into thinking maybe tomorrow will be easier. But you know it won't. You settle onto your straw mat. It scratches your skin, but you're too tired to complain. The night insects start chirping. A faint breeze moves through the window, warm, but still better than nothing. You close your eyes. And you sleep. And you don't dream of gods or temples or glory. You dream of cold water. Just cold water. You don't know how long you've been asleep when the first sound reaches you. It's soft, distant, almost part of the dream you were having, a dream of standing beside a river of ice-cold water, dipping your feet in, feeling the kind of chill that makes your bones sigh in relief. But the sound grows louder, sharper, more real. A goat bleating. Someone yelling at it. A pot clattering to the ground. Your eyes open before your mind fully wakes. The air is warm again. It didn't stay cool for long. Your mat feels rough beneath you, but your body refuses to move yet. Morning hasn't arrived, but the village is never fully silent. Something is always alive, always shifting, always making noise. A baby crying. An old man mumbling to himself. A donkey shaking its head, whipping flies off with its ears. You listen to all of it with half-awareness, floating somewhere between sleep and duty. Your mouth is dry. Not regular dry, papyrus dry. Tomb dry. The kind of dry that makes you wonder if you swallowed dust in your sleep. You reach for your water jar, lift it, and feel the painful disappointment of it being nearly empty. You tilt it anyway. A single warm mouthful dribbles into your mouth. Better than nothing. You set it down with a soft thud that echoes more loudly than it should in the quiet of your small home. You roll onto your back and stare up at the ceiling. Mud brick. Wood beams. A spiderweb that gets bigger every week because you keep forgetting to destroy it. A fat spider sits in the corner like it pays rent. You sigh. You're too tired to care. Let it live. At least it eats worse creatures than you. Your breathing slows. You almost fall asleep again. But then you hear footsteps, multiple, moving outside. Whispered conversations, rushed, urgent. The kind that no one wants to have too loudly because it'll wake the wrong people. You sit up, rubbing your face with both hands. Sand sticks to your fingers. Of course it does. Sand gets everywhere. Even inside your sleep. You step outside and feel the night's leftover warmth cling to your skin like a last warning from the sun. The moon hangs low, dim, smudged by drifting dust in the distance. You see neighbors gathering around the center of the village, drawn to something you can't see yet. Torches flicker, throwing uneven light that makes everyone's shadows stretch into giants. Your feet drag through the dirt as you approach. You're not scared. You're too tired to be scared. Curiosity beats fear. Barely. As you get closer, you hear the low drone of someone chanting. A priest. His voice sounds like wine through reeds, soft, steady, rehearsed 1,000 times. People shift from foot to foot, murmuring prayers under their breath. You push through the crowd slowly, and then you see it. A man lies on the ground. Blood on his leg. A crushed foot. A stone fell during construction, someone says it slipped, someone else whispers the gods are angry, someone else insists the ropes were too old. The priest kneels beside him, sprinkling something, maybe oil, maybe blessed water, maybe just something to calm the onlookers. The injured man grimaces, teeth clenched so tight you wonder how they haven't cracked. His wife kneels beside him, whispering encouragement that sounds more like begging. No one cries. Not loudly, anyway. Crying is private. Suffering is communal. The overseer arrives moments later, still half asleep and annoyed that he was woken up. He looks at the leg, clicks his tongue, mutters something about needing to work faster tomorrow to make up for the delay. The villagers exchange glances, small, quick, subtle, because disrespect is dangerous even if justified. You step back slowly. You've seen injuries before. They happen all the time. Stones shift. Tools break. Workers get tired and make mistakes. The gods don't intervene for every crushed limb. You walk back toward your home, the torches shrinking behind you, the chanting fading into the warm night. Your stomach churns, not from fear, but from a deep, quiet understanding. That could have been you. It still could be. Any day. You sit outside your door and watch the horizon. A faint line of blue grows beneath the darkness. Dawn approaches like a tired friend who keeps showing up uninvited but still expects you to be grateful. You stretch your legs. Your knees pop like dried sticks snapping. Another day begins, whether you're ready or not. You stand. Your bones protest. Your mind sighs. Your body obeys anyway. A new day in Egypt isn't a fresh start. It's a continuation. The heat will come. The work will come. The overseers will shout. The stones will crush. The sand will infiltrate every part of your existence. But so will life. You head toward the river to refill your jar. A breeze brushes your face, warm, but still better than nothing. The Nile glows in the early light, calm, powerful, ancient. Your reflection shimmers on its surface before breaking apart with each ripple. You kneel. You scoop water. You wash your face. You breathe. For a brief moment, the world is gentle. Then someone calls your name from across the shore. Work begins again. You lift the jar, now full and heavier than your half-awake arms would prefer. Droplets slip down the side and darken the dusty ground beneath your feet. The coolness of the water lingers on your hands for only a heartbeat before the warm air steals it away. Someone calls your name again, closer this time, more impatient. You turn to see your neighbor, a wiry man with shoulders that look like they've carried burdens since childhood. His expression is a mix of urgency and resignation, the same look everyone has in the early morning. He waves you over with a quick flick of the hand. You'll be late, he mutters as you join him, though his tone lacks judgment. It's simply a fact. Time flows differently for workers. The sun dictates everything. Fall behind, and the day punishes you. You both start walking along the riverbank. The Nile moves beside you like a living creature, silent, deep, both a blessing and a threat. It smells of mud, wet plants, and the faint sweetness of life. Birds skim the surface, wings barely touching the water, painting ripples that disappear as quickly as they come. Your neighbor clears his throat. Did you hear about the man last night? You nod. He won't be back to work for weeks, he says. If ever. You don't respond. There's nothing to say. The truth is too obvious, the work will continue. The stones will still need lifting. The sun will still burn. Missing one worker doesn't stop the world. It just makes the load heavier for everyone else. You reach the crossing point, a simple wooden boat tied to a post. The ferryman stands beside it, already awake, already irritable, already muttering about how early the workers start and how he never gets enough rest. You and your neighbor hand him small tokens, a piece of bread, a small fish, whatever you can spare. Payment is flexible. Complaints are not. The boat creaks as you step inside. The wood is rough beneath your feet, still damp from the night. As the ferry drifts across the river, the breeze over the water cools your face, and for a moment, you feel almost comfortable. You close your eyes and let the wind brush against your eyelids. The ferryman spits into the water. The temple's coming along faster than expected, he grumbles. Priests say the gods are pleased. You open your eyes. Are they? He shrugs. Gods are always pleased when they get new buildings. Your neighbor stifles a laugh, then pretends he didn't. On the opposite bank, workers gather in small clusters. Some stretch their arms, preparing for the day's strain. Others eat the last bite of their morning bread. A few sit in silence, staring at the horizon as if trying to guess what the day will throw at them. You walk with the group toward the construction site. The air is still cool, but you can feel the heat waiting behind the sky, ready to pounce the moment the sun clears the horizon. You pass fields where farmers are already ankle-deep in mud, coaxing stubborn plants to grow. Their hands move slowly, methodically, as if part of a rhythm older than memory. Ahead, the half-built temple rises like a giant skeleton of stone and shadow. Workers swarm around it, pulling ropes, carrying tools, shouting instructions that get swallowed by the heavy morning air. Your overseer stands at the top of a small mound, hands on hips, eyes scanning the crowd. His expression says he woke up in a bad mood and plans to stay that way. His voice cuts through the murmurs like a sharpened blade. You get the ropes ready. You three, move those stones. Don't wait for me to tell you everything. His voice is the morning alarm no one asked for. You take your place among the rope team. The thick fibers scratch your palms, reopening tiny cuts that never fully healed. You brace your legs, lean back, and wait for the signal. The overseer raises his hand. You inhale. He drops it. Everyone pulls. The rope strains. The stone shifts. Your arms burn instantly, as if your muscles were waiting for an excuse to protest. You grit your teeth and keep pulling, feeling the weight of the world, or at least a very expensive piece of it, dragging across the sand. Someone trips. Someone curses. Someone else yells for more hands. The stone lurches forward, and your back screams in response. This is the rhythm of your days. Pull. Strain. Sweat. Repeat. Hours blur. The sun climbs. The heat presses itself onto your skin. The temple walls inch closer to completion. Your energy inches closer to collapse. By late morning, the world is a haze of brightness and exhaustion. You wipe sweat from your forehead, but it returns instantly, stinging your eyes. You squint at the sky, silently begging the sun to show mercy, but the sun doesn't bargain. It only demands. You pause for a moment, just one, and look around. Thousands of years from now, people will stand in awe of this temple. They'll write about it. Study it. Take pride in it. But they will never know your name. They will never know how your hands bled. How your back broke. How your lungs filled with dust. How you pulled and pulled and pulled until the weight of the stone felt like part of your body. You grip the rope again. Because the work isn't done. Because it never is. Because stopping isn't an option. You pull. And the stone moves. The sun reaches its highest point with the confidence of a king who knows no one can challenge him. The shadows shrink until they're thin, useless lines that offer no mercy. The air thickens, becoming something you have to push through instead of breathe. Every movement feels heavier. Every sound feels sharper. Every thought feels slower. Your shoulders ache in a way that doesn't even feel like pain anymore, just a constant presence, like an unwelcome guest sitting on top of you. The rope burns your palms as if it resents your existence. Sweat drips into your eyes, stinging, blurring your vision. You blink hard, but it only clears the world for a moment before the next drop makes everything swim again. Someone nearby mutters, "The sun's angry today." Another worker answers, "The sun's always angry." You almost laugh. Almost. But laughter requires energy, and energy is a luxury you spent hours ago. The overseer stomps across the site, barking orders like a man trying to scare the stones into moving faster. His voice cracks through the heat. "Keep pulling. Don't slow down. You think the gods accept excuses? You know better than to look directly at him. Eye contact means attention, and attention means extra work. Or worse. A worker to your left collapses to his knees. Just drops, like his strings were cut. His face is pale beneath the layer of dust. His hands tremble. The overseer notices and strides over with long, irritated steps, like the man fell just to inconvenience him. "Get up," the overseer snaps. The worker tries. His arms shake. He manages to rise half an inch before falling again. The overseer clicks his tongue. Lazy. Lazy. The word burns more than the sun. Two other workers, not friends, not family, just people who understand the unspoken rules of survival, pull the man into the shade of a half-built wall. They give him a little water, even though none of them can afford to give any. You watch for a moment, then force yourself to look away. Helping is dangerous. Not helping is cruelty. You walk the line every day. Your own throat feels like dried clay cracking under pressure. You sip from your water jar, just a sip. The warm liquid does nothing for you. It might even make you thirstier. But that's all you can spare. A gust of wind blows across the site. It should feel good, but it carries sand with it, sand that sticks to your sweat, sand that scratches across your neck, sand that gets between your teeth. You spit onto the ground. It doesn't help. The priest arrives sometime later. He walks slowly, deliberately, as if the heat respects him more than the rest of you. He carries incense, swinging it in small arcs that send ribbons of smoke curling upward. The smell is sweet and thick, drowning out the scent of sweat and dust. The workers pause, not because they're allowed to, but because the priest's presence creates a bubble of brief, forced stillness. He mutters blessings for strength, endurance, devotion. His voice is soft, and you strain to hear it. He finishes the ritual, nods to the overseer, and leaves. The moment he's gone, the overseer shouts. "Back to work." As if anyone stopped. You return to the rope. The stone hasn't moved much. It looks at you, heavy, indifferent, ancient, as though mocking your efforts. You pull. Your muscles tremble. Your vision darkens at the edges. Your breath comes in jagged, uneven gulps. A buzz fills your ears. At first you think it's insects. Then you realize it's inside your head. Too much heat. Too little water. Too much everything. A voice beside you, soft, barely audible, says. "Keep your head down. Focus on the rope. Nothing else." You obey. You don't know who said it. It doesn't matter. Hours pass in a blur of sweat and pain. The sun eventually shifts from blinding to merely unbearable, which is the closest thing to relief you'll get today. When the overseer finally gives the signal to stop, your body doesn't react at first. It's forgotten how to stop. You're still pulling when everyone else drops the rope. The sudden lack of tension nearly sends you falling backward. You catch yourself just in time. Your hands throb. Your arms are numb. Your heartbeat is loud, too loud, pounding inside your skull. Shade. You need shade. You stumble toward a half-constructed wall and sink against it, sliding down until you're sitting on the ground. The stone is warm, everything is warm, but it's solid, grounded, unmoving, and that's enough. Around you, workers scatter into whatever patches of shadow they can find. Some lie flat on the ground. Some press their faces into their arms. Some simply stare at nothing, letting the exhaustion hollow them out. No one speaks. Speaking takes breath. Breath takes strength. You close your eyes. You don't sleep, but you float. Somewhere between consciousness and collapse. Your stomach growls again, but the thought of eating in this heat feels like a joke. Food is something evening you will care about. Midday you only wants air and darkness. The overseer's voice cracks through the stillness again. Break's over. Of course it is. You stand. Your legs wobble. Your spine cracks again. Your body protests, but your mind pushes it forward. Because this is life. Because this is work. Because the temple doesn't build itself. You walk back toward the ropes. Another block waits. Another burden. Another day carved into your bones. The sun begins its slow descent, but the heat doesn't loosen its grip. It clings to the earth like a jealous lover, refusing to let go. The sky shifts from blinding white to a harsh gold, the color of molten metal. Late afternoon is the most dangerous time. Not because of the sun. Because this is when people break. Your feet drag through the sand as you approach the next stone block. It's smaller than the morning one, but not by much. Enough to give false hope. Not enough to actually feel lighter. As you grip the rope again, your fingers protest. The skin is beginning to split, forming thin red lines that pulse with every beat of your heart. You wrap a cloth around your palm, not clean, not new, but at least it's something. The worker to your right, a man older than the pyramids feel, mutters. By the gods, these stones breed when we turn our backs. The man on your left snorts a tired half-laugh. They breed faster than we do. A few people chuckle under their breath. It's the closest thing to joy anyone has felt all day. The overseer doesn't like it. He points his staff toward your group. Less mouth. More pulling. You bow your head, not in respect but in strategy. The less he notices you, the longer you live. The pull begins again. The rope digs into your palms. Your arms scream. Your back begs for mercy. But the block inches forward, a slow, stubborn surrender. Sand shifts under your feet, threatening to send you slipping. You adjust your stance. You can't afford to fall. The buzzing in your ears returns. Loud. Angry. You blink hard. For a moment, the world tilts to the side. You blink again. It straightens. But something else is wrong. A faint tremor moves through the ground, so subtle you think you imagined it. The worker beside you pauses, frowning. Did you feel? A sharp crack interrupts him. Stone grinding against wood. Then another. Louder. The sled beneath the block shifts, too fast. Move, someone screams. Too late. One of the wooden rollers pops loose, shooting out like a spear. It slams into the ground just a few feet away. Sand explodes into the air. The massive stone lurches to the side. Men scatter. Some dive. Some aren't fast enough. You stumble backward as the block crashes down with a thunderous impact. The ground jumps beneath your feet. Dust billows upward, swallowing everything in a choking cloud. Coughing erupts all around you. Shouts. Chaos. When the dust finally settles, you see him. A young worker, barely a man, pinned under the edge of the block. His leg crushed. His face twisted in pain that has no sound left to express itself. Workers rush toward him. Instinct. Humanity. Stupidity. All mixed together. The overseer yells. Stay back. He's done. Get away. No one listens. Not even you. You push through the circle forming around the fallen boy. His breaths come fast and shallow. His eyes dart wildly, like an animal caught in a trap. Water, someone says. We have none, another answers, then shade. There is no shade. The overseer arrives, furious and exhausted. You waste time. He cannot work. He cannot be fixed. Leave him. A murmur of anger rolls through the workers, quiet but dangerous. Even the air feels tense. The overseer senses it. He glares at the boy. Your clumsiness slows the entire project. Clumsiness. That word again. As poisonous as the sun. Before anyone can respond, a deep horn echoes from the far side of the site, long, heavy, commanding. The signal for the evening ritual. The shift pauses. Work stops. Even the overseer cannot talk over the horn. The priest approaches again, this time with 2 apprentices carrying bowls of sacred water. Their presence shifts the atmosphere, calming it like cool rain that never actually arrives. The priest looks at the crushed boy. His expression softens. Not pity, something older, heavier. Bring him, he says quietly. The overseer hesitates, but a priest outranks him. Always. 2 workers lift the boy carefully, ignoring his gasps of pain. They carry him toward the priest's tent. You watch them go. Part of you hopes he survives. Part of you knows he won't. Part of you wishes it were anyone but him. A bell rings. The overseer points at the stone. Fix the rollers. Reset the sled. We finish this block before sunset. Of course you do. Because the temple must rise. Because your suffering isn't a tragedy, it's a requirement. You return to the rope. The sun drops lower. The shadows grow long. The heat softens. But your exhaustion grows heavy enough to crush you. Just like the stone, the sun sinks lower, sliding toward the horizon like a weary god finally giving up his throne for the night. The light shifts into a deep amber, beautiful, if beauty still meant anything to you. But for the workers, that golden glow isn't poetry. It's a warning. The dying light means you have 1 hour, maybe less, to finish the day's task. 1 hour before the overseer starts shouting. Before the priest's evening drums begin. Before the desert cold turns sweat into ice. You tighten your grip on the rope. Everyone does. The shadows stretch long across the sand, deepening the lines on your face, carving exhaustion into the shape of every worker. The block looms over you, darker now, its edges sharp against the fading sky. The older worker beside you whispers, breathless. If the block isn't placed today, they'll make us finish it in the dark. No one needs to be told what that means. Night work is dangerous. Tools slip. Stones crush. Men vanish into the shadowed edges of the site and don't come back. You swallow hard. You pull. The rope bites into your palms again. Your arms quiver as if they're made of papyrus instead of flesh. Your lungs pull in warm air that tastes like dust and desperation. The stone creaks forward. Just a hand's width. Then another. The overseer's voice slices through the dimming world. Faster. The light is leaving. Move. You move. Your body moves even if your mind is fading at the edges. You stop thinking about pain. You stop thinking about thirst. You stop thinking about the crushed boy carried away. There is only the rope. Only the stone. Only the dying sun. A worker ahead of you stumbles. His knee buckles, and for a moment, he clutches the rope like a lifeline. You expect the overseer to lash him with words or worse, but something strange happens instead. The overseer hesitates. His eyes flick to the horizon. To the fading light. To the stone still yards away from its place. He doesn't scold the man. He doesn't shout. He simply steps forward and, shockingly, helps him up. Not out of mercy. Out of fear, the night is approaching too fast. And if the stone isn't set before darkness, the foreman above him, the one who answers directly to the priests, will blame him. Not you. He growls. Pull together. All of you. Now. You brace your feet. You lean back. You pull with everything you have left. Your vision blurs again. Your heartbeat thunders in your ears. Your breath comes in sharp, broken gasps. But the stone moves. A slow, deliberate surrender. Sand grinds under the sled. Ropes groan. Men grunt and strain and whisper prayers they don't truly remember. A faint breeze cuts across your skin. Cooler this time. The kind of breeze that only appears when the sun is seconds from disappearing. The sky bleeds red. A blood-red glow that stains the temple walls in the distance. You pull one last time, a full-body heave. A desperate, final scream inside your bones. And the stone slides into place. Perfectly. The overseer shouts. Stop. The rope slackens in your hands. You almost fall with it. Some workers collapse immediately, onto their knees, onto the sand, onto each other. Others simply stand frozen, unable to believe that the day might actually end. You release the rope slowly. Your fingers twitch, unable to uncurl for a moment. The dying light fades into purple. The overseer raises his staff and points toward the central courtyard. Evening assembly, he commands. Normally you'd hate him for it. Now you're too tired to feel anything. As the workers drag themselves away from the stone, you glance back at it. The massive block sits perfectly, glowing faintly in the last strands of sunlight. Tomorrow, another will take its place. Next week, a wall. Next month, a hall. Next year, a temple. But for now, in the final breath of daylight. You survived. Night doesn't fall in Egypt. It slides down the sky, smooth and silent, like a blanket pulled over a sleeping child. The last streaks of gold fade into purple, then blue, then a darkness so deep it feels like it has weight. You join the slow procession of workers moving toward the courtyard. No one talks. No one jokes. No one even breathes too loudly. The air is different after sunset, cooler, yes, but heavy in a way that makes your skin prickle. The desert at night has its own kind of hunger. A torch crackles to life near the courtyard entrance, then another, then a dozen more. Flames dance in the wind, creating shapes that flicker like restless spirits. Shadows twist across the ground, long and spindly, clinging to your legs as if trying to follow you inside. You step into the courtyard. The drums begin. Low at first, barely a sound, just a vibration under your feet, pulsing through the packed earth. Then louder. Then deeper. A slow, steady beat that matches the rhythm of your heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. Workers gather in loose circles, dropping onto the ground where they can. Some sit cross-legged. Some lie back and stare at the stars. Some just close their eyes, saving every possible ounce of strength. The overseer stands off to the side, muttering instructions to a junior scribe. His face is tense, not angry, but tight. Nervous. You've never seen him nervous. The priest arrives. Not the one from earlier. This one is older. More decorated. More important. His robe shimmers in the torchlight, embroidered with gold threads that catch every flicker. He carries a staff carved with symbols you recognize but don't understand. His head is shaved smooth, reflecting the firelight like polished stone. The drums fall silent the moment he steps into the center of the courtyard. You feel the stillness settle over everyone. The priest lifts his staff and speaks. His voice is calm, but it carries through the night as if the stars themselves are listening. Children of the Nile, he begins, the gods have watched your labor. They have seen your sweat, your suffering, your devotion. A few workers bow their heads. Not out of faith. Out of habit. The sun god was harsh today, the priest continues, because he tests the strength of those who build his houses. But tonight. He pauses. The wind shifts. The torches crackle. Tonight the moon goddess watches over you. A murmur moves through the crowd. Moon blessings mean one thing. Protection for the night. A rare gift. The priest sets the base of his staff to the ground. A small vibration ripples outward, making the sand tremble under your palms. But hear this, he says, voice lowering. The desert is restless. The wind carries whispers. Something moves beyond the dunes. A cold ripple of fear runs through the workers. You feel it too. You've heard the stories. Jackals with glowing eyes. Spirits of those who died under the stones. Night demons who walk between the dunes, hunting the weak. The priest raises his staff again. Stay close to the fires tonight. Do not wander. Do not answer strange voices. And if you hear footsteps behind you. He pauses. Everyone holds their breath. Do not turn around. A shiver crawls up your spine. A long silence follows. Then, without another word, the priest lowers his staff and leaves the courtyard. The torches sway in the wind as he disappears into the darkness. The overseer clears his throat and mutters. Return to your homes. Rest. Work begins at first light. Workers rise slowly, stiffly. Some limp. Some lean on each other. You push yourself upright, feeling every bone complain at once. As you begin the walk home, the drums start again. Soft this time, distant, like a heartbeat fading into the desert. The air is colder now. The stars brighter. The darkness deeper. A faint chill slips under your skin. You pull your tunic tighter. Because tonight, for the first time in weeks. You're afraid, you step out of the courtyard and into the open night. The temperature has dropped faster than your body can adjust, and a strange shiver runs from your shoulders down to your spine. The sand under your feet feels cooler now, softer, shifting with each step as if the ground itself is exhaling. The village ahead glows faintly, tiny oil lamps flickering in doorways, scattered like fallen stars. Most houses are quiet. A few distant voices drift through the air, too muffled to make out. Somewhere, a goat bleats like it has nightmares of its own. Your footsteps crunch softly. You're not alone, workers spread out in small groups, walking toward the same clusters of mud brick homes. But no one speaks. Everyone keeps their voices tucked behind their teeth, afraid that even a whisper might draw something unwanted. The priest's warning still echoes in your mind. Do not answer strange voices. Do not turn around if you hear footsteps behind you. A breeze sweeps through the village path, carrying the smell of cooling sand, burnt oil, and something else, something faint, metallic, like the scent of a storm that doesn't exist. A young boy runs past you, clutching a clay lamp. He glances over his shoulder, eyes wide with the kind of fear only children admit openly. His mother calls from a doorway. Hurry. Inside. He disappears into the house. The door thuds shut. The lock slides into place. The night grows colder. You pass an old woman sitting by her doorway grinding herbs. She mutters prayers under her breath, fingers moving quickly, scattering small grains along the threshold. Protection rituals. You've seen them before, but never this early in the evening. She stops as you pass. Looks up. Her eyes are pale and clouded, but they seem to look right through you. Keep your spirit close tonight, she whispers. You don't ask what that means. You keep walking. Your home isn't far now, just a few turns past the well, a short walk down a narrow alley of stone and clay walls that lean inward like they're trying to whisper secrets to each other. The moon hangs low over the rooftops, brighter than usual, almost too bright. It paints silver lines on the ground that shimmer when you move, like the path is alive. Your footsteps echo strangely. Too loud. Too sharp. You slow your pace. The alley narrows. The shadows deepen. Your heartbeat quickens. Then. You hear it. A footstep. Behind you. Soft. Slow. Deliberate. Your breath freezes in your chest. Another step. Closer. You don't turn. You don't breathe. You remember the priest's words. If you hear footsteps behind you, do not turn around. Your pulse pounds so hard you feel it in your fingertips. You swallow, but your throat is too dry for the sound to go down. The footsteps stop. The silence is worse. The air feels thicker behind you, like someone, or something, is standing just beyond your shoulder. You take a step forward. The thing behind you takes a step too. Perfectly in sync. Goosebumps crawl across your arms. You walk quicker. So does it. You turn the corner. Your home is right there, 10 steps away. But the moonlight stops just before your doorway, leaving the entrance in shadow. Your stomach knots. You reach the threshold. A whisper brushes your ear. So quiet you can't tell if it's real. Don't leave. Your heart slams against your ribs. You step inside, slam the door shut, and fumble for the wooden bar that secures it. Your hands shake so badly you drop it twice before finally locking it into place. Silence. You press your back against the door. Nothing tries to push it open. Nothing taps. Nothing speaks. Just the sound of your ragged breath and your pounding heart. From the back of the room, someone in your family asks softly, "Are you all right?" You don't answer. You can't. Because through the small crack in the doorframe, you still hear breathing. Not yours. Not anyone inside. Something is standing on the other side. Listening. Waiting. Watching. You inch backward. Slowly. Very slowly. The breathing fades. And after a long, agonizing minute, it stops. You finally exhale, trembling from head to toe. Tonight is not like other nights. Something is moving in the dark. Something the priest didn't want to name. And you have a terrible feeling. It knows you felt it. The desert settles into its midnight silence. Your family sleeps in uneasy heaps, breaths shallow, bodies stiff with the kind of fear that knows better than to show itself. But you are awake. Your mat feels colder than it should. The air tastes different, like metal mixed with dust. You keep your eyes shut, pretending to sleep. Until you hear it. A soft scrape. Right outside your door. Not footsteps this time. Something dragging itself across the packed earth. Slow. Deliberate. Too gentle to be human. Too patient to be an animal. Your fingers curl into your blanket. The lantern flame near the door trembles. Not flickering. Not swaying. But leaning. As though bowing towards something unseen on the other side. You open your eyes just enough to see shapes moving across the wall. Not your family. Not shadows that belong to anything inside. These shadows bend wrong. Stretch wrong. Move as if they have joints where no joints should be. A whisper leaks through the cracks in the door. At first you think it's the wind. But wind does not speak your name. Child. Your blood freezes. No one else stirs. The whisper comes again, soft as a breath. Open. Your throat tightens so violently you nearly choke. You know the rules. Never answer. Never acknowledge. Never respond when the desert calls. But the voice drifts closer to the door. You can almost imagine a mouth pressed against the wood, learning its shape. You left something. In the dunes. Your pulse drops like a stone. Your legs go numb. You did leave something behind. Your footprints. Your scent. Your fear. It knows. The clay bowl with the offering shifts. Only an inch. But enough for you to see the shadow behind it. A shape coiling like smoke, then unfolding like a limb. Your breath shakes. The lantern flame stretches again, straining toward the door. And then goes suddenly still. Perfectly upright. As if frozen. As if staring. You press your face into your blanket, willing yourself not to look, not to move, not to exist. The whisper returns, this time from the bottom of the door, low and scraping. I watched you fall. Your heart stops. I followed, a chill colder than winter sand crawls up your spine. The shadow rises taller on the wall, reaching up, spreading across the ceiling like ink spilled in slow motion. Your father turns in his sleep. The shadow pauses. Thins. Recoils. A faint growl, almost offended, vibrates through the wood. Then. Silence. Long, deep, waiting silence. Finally, the whisper drifts away like smoke in reverse. Tomorrow night. You cannot hide. The shadow pulls back. The flame twitches. The offering bowl shakes once, then goes still. You don't move for a long time. When you finally dare to breathe, your lungs sting. Sleep remains far away. Because the worst part isn't the voice. Or the shadow. It's the single truth curling like a thorn inside your chest. Whatever followed you wasn't wandering. It was hunting. And tonight, it marked you. You stand with your back against the door for a long time, waiting for your heartbeat to stop sounding like drums inside your skull. Your family watches you silently. They know better than to ask questions. In a village like yours, everyone respects fear the same way they respect fire, carefully, quietly, without sudden movements. Your mother pushes a small clay lantern toward you. Light it, she whispers. You nod. Your hands still shake as you take the lantern. The oil inside ripples, disturbed by your trembling. You strike the flint stone against the iron shard. Sparks dance. One falls inside the lantern's open mouth. A flame catches. It flickers weakly at first, then steadies. Your mother exhales in relief. Your father murmurs a prayer to the moon goddess. Your siblings pull their mats closer to the wall, away from the windows. You place the lantern near the doorway, exactly where tradition demands. The first flame of the night, set to guard the threshold. The village elders say the flame confuses wandering spirits. Gives them something to follow instead of following you. You hope they're right. The flame sways gently, casting warm light across the cramped room. Shadows scatter across the walls. Some shapes look familiar, pots, baskets, woven mats. Others stretch strangely, bending as if the shadows themselves are trying to flee from something outside. Your sister hands you a bowl of dinner. Lentils again. Hard bread. A few herbs for flavor. The offering bowl shakes once, then goes still. You don't move for a long time. When you finally dare to breathe, your lungs sting. Sleep remains far away. Because the worst part isn't the voice. Or the shadow. It's the single truth curling like a thorn inside your chest. Whatever followed you wasn't wandering. It was hunting. And tonight, it marked you. You stand with your back against the door for a long time, waiting for your heartbeat to stop sounding like drums inside your skull. Your family watches you silently. They know better than to ask questions. In a village like yours, everyone respects fear the same way they respect fire, carefully, quietly, without sudden movements. Your mother pushes a small clay lantern toward you. "Light it," she whispers. You nod. Your hands still shake as you take the lantern. The oil inside ripples, disturbed by your trembling. You strike the flint stone against the iron shard. Sparks dance. One falls inside the lantern's open mouth. A flame catches. It flickers weakly at first, then steadies. Your mother exhales in relief. Your father murmurs a prayer to the moon goddess. Your siblings pull their mats closer to the wall, away from the windows. You place the lantern near the doorway, exactly where tradition demands. The first flame of the night, set to guard the threshold. The village elders say the flame confuses wandering spirits. Gives them something to follow instead of following you. You hope they're right. The flame sways gently, casting warm light across the cramped room. Shadows scatter across the walls. Some shapes look familiar: pots, baskets, woven mats. Others stretch strangely, bending as if the shadows themselves are trying to flee from something outside. Your sister hands you a bowl of dinner. Lentils again. Hard bread. A few herbs for flavor. It's the same meal as every night, but tonight it tastes different, like ashes mixed with sand. Not because of the food. Because fear has tightened your stomach so much you can barely swallow. Your younger brother sits beside you, whispering. Did something follow you? You freeze. You don't look at him. Don't answer. You're afraid speaking it aloud will make it real. Your father sharply says. No questions. And your brother falls silent. Everyone eats in near silence, interrupted only by the quiet crackle of the lantern flame. Then. A distant howl cuts through the night. Not a dog. Not a jackal. Something deeper. Longer. Too smooth to be animal, too cold to be human. A chill runs through the room. Your father puts his bowl down. Your mother lowers her head. The little ones press into her sides. Another howl answers the first. Closer. You feel your heart sink. You know that sound. Everyone does. Desert spirits are restless tonight. Something has stirred them from their wandering paths. Your father stands and pulls the heavy reed curtain across the window. The room darkens. The lantern's flame dances harder, fighting the sudden rush of cold air. Your mother whispers. Make sure the offering is ready. You blink. Tonight? She nods. Your stomach tightens. She pulls out a small clay bowl from beneath a shelf. Inside are dried herbs, a pinch of salt, and small pieces of barley cake. A simple offering, but one meant for protection, not gratitude. Your father takes the offering bowl and places it near the door, beside the lantern. Do not touch it, he warns. Do not look at it if it moves. Do not speak if you hear anything near it. The rules are old. Older than temples. Older than kings. Older than Egypt itself. The flame crackles. The wind outside howls again. And for a moment, just a moment, you hear footsteps outside your door. Not heavy. Not loud. Just, there. Soft. Slow. Passing by. Your breath catches. Your mother whispers a protective prayer. The footsteps pause. Your skin crawls. The lantern flame bends sharply toward the door, as if pulled by something unseen. Your father places a hand on your shoulder, firm, steady, grounding. You wait. You don't move. The footsteps resume. Move away. Fade into the night. No one speaks. No one breathes deeply. Everyone waits until the silence outside settles like dust. Your father finally whispers. Sleep if you can. Dawn will come soon. You lie on your mat. You close your eyes. But sleep doesn't come. Not yet. Not while you can still hear something moving in the desert outside. Something that sounds less like an animal. And more like a voice trying to remember how to be human. You don't remember falling asleep. One moment you're staring at the ceiling, heart beating too loud in your ears. And the next. Sand. Not your mat. Not your home. Just sand. Endless. Shifting. Breathing. You stand alone in the center of a desert that shouldn't exist, lit by a moon too bright, too close, too watchful. The air is perfectly still, yet you hear the hiss of moving grains beneath your bare feet. A familiar voice drifts across the dunes. You finally came. Your limbs lock. You know that voice. You do not want to hear it again. Where? Your voice cracks. You don't mean to speak. You don't want to answer. But the word slips out before you can stop it. The sand ripples. Something moves beneath. Circling. Slowly rising. A shape forms, first a mound, then a spine, then fingers made of sand, sifting upward like smoke shaped into a hand. Home, it whispers. The sand hand stretches toward you, grains falling like tears. You stumble backward. But the desert shifts with you. Sand rising behind you, pushing you forward. As if the ground itself refuses to let you escape. The voice drifts closer. You ran from me. Left your fear for me to follow. Now. I follow you everywhere. The sand beneath your feet pulses. Once. Twice. A heartbeat. No, your heartbeat. The desert is breathing with you. You try to run. Your legs don't respond. The sand tightens around your ankles. The voice changes, no longer soft, no longer whispering. It grows layered. As if many mouths are speaking through one. You will not flee tonight. You will listen. The sand hand rises higher, shoulder, neck, then a face forming grain by grain. Not a human face. Too long. Too hollow. No lips. Only darkness where a mouth should be. But when it speaks, the air vibrates. You carry the scent of the fall, it says. You touched the desert with fear so deep it opened something older than God's. The face leans close. Now it watches through me. Your skin crawls. What do you want? You whisper, your voice shaking. The spirit tilts its head. Wrongly. Too far. Neck bending past what bone allows. Then it smiles. Not with a mouth. With the sand around it cracking like dried clay. Only your shadow. Only the part of you that touched the old desert. You jerk awake. Your lungs burn. You're back in your home. Your family still sleeps. But something is wrong. Very wrong. The mat beneath you is warm. When you lift your hand. Your palm is covered in sand, not dream sand. Real sand. Fresh. Cold. From outside. You swallow hard. Then you see it. A single line of tiny footprints. Not human, not animal. Leading from your mat. Toward the lantern. The flame bends toward your sleeping form. As if pointing at you. Whispering without sound. Marked. The word hangs in the air long after the whisper fades. Even though nothing was spoken aloud. The lantern flame tilts again, trembling slightly, like a finger made of fire pointing directly at your chest. Your breath shudders out of you. You don't want to move. You don't even want to blink. But the tiny footprints, those impossible little marks leading from your mat to the lantern, pull your gaze downward. They're delicate, almost dainty, each one shaped like a claw that never existed on any creature you know. One line of footprints. Only one. As if something very small. And very old. Walked out of your dream and into the waking world. Your throat goes dry. You whisper, barely audible. This isn't real. But the sand on your palm is cold. Too cold. It bites your skin like winter glass. The lantern flame flickers sharply. Then. Tap. A tiny sound behind you. You freeze. Not a footstep. Not a knock. A tap, like a fingernail brushing the door. Your back straightens as every muscle locks. Tap, tap. The sound moves along the wood. Sliding. Tracing. As if following the outline of the door frame. You force yourself to turn. Slowly. Just enough to see. A single grain of sand drifting downward across the door. Then another. Then a third. The wood is leaking sand. Your stomach twists. Your dream is not done with you. A whisper thread of wind curls around your ankles. Not outside wind. Inside. Moving with intent that it circles your feet like something smelling you, testing you, memorizing you. Then. The lantern's flame stretches impossibly long, bending toward the door like a snake scenting prey. Your heartbeat thunders, someone, or something, on the other side exhales. You feel the breath through the cracks. Low. Slow. Patient. The same layered voice from the dream speaks from behind the door, muffled but unmistakably close. Shadow bearer. Open it. Your heartbeat stutters. Your hand twitches. The door trembles. Something presses gently from the other side. Not knocking. Pushing. Your family still sleeps, unaware. The sand on the floor begins to crawl. Actual grains sliding toward the door in thin, eager lines. You choke on a breath. Go away, you manage, barely more than a broken whisper. The thing behind the door laughs softly. A sound like 1,000 grains of sand cascading down a dune. I cannot, it says. You brought me back with you. The door cracks. Wood splinters. Sand pours through the seams like a leaking hourglass. The lantern flame flares. As if warning you. Then the spirit's voice murmurs. Or I enter another way. The sand fingers spread across the floor like cracking spiderwebs, thin, sharp lines racing outward. They move with terrifying purpose, branching toward your feet, your hands, your shadow. You jerk back instinctively. The lantern's flame spasms, stretching tall, thinning like a blade. Its glow fighting the intruding sand as if the fire itself knows the spirit's touch. But the door. The door groans. A long, painful wooden cry fills the room. Your family doesn't stir. Not a twitch. Not a breath out of place. They sleep too deeply. Unnaturally deeply. You swallow hard. The truth crawls over your spine. It put them under. It wants you awake. Only you. Sand pours faster now, spilling from the doorframe, the ceiling edges, even the cracks between the floorboards. None of it existed a moment ago. You know it. Dream sand has no right to be real. And yet it gathers in small swirling mounds, circling your feet like hungry storms, the spirit's voice threads through the wood. Your fear opened a path. Your shadow invited me. Your dreams carried me home. Another push. The door bulges inward. You flinch away. For a moment. A flicker. You see a shape through the cracking wood. A long face. Hollow eyes. No mouth. Just as in the dream. Its head tilts, slowly, too far, too human and too not at once. Do not run, it murmurs. I follow shadows. Yours shines brightest. Your voice is a thin, shaking thread. What do you want from me? It answers instantly, without hesitation, without emotion. Something you no longer need. Your heart stops. What? Another tilt. Another splinter of wood. Your fear. The sand fingers seize your ankles. Cold. Fast. Violent. You gasp and try to pull away. But the sand hardens around your skin like iron rings. You fall to your knees. The lantern flame snaps. Brightening, fighting, flaring upward in a silent scream. The spirit snarls from the other side of the door, its voice layered again, deeper now. Give it to me. The sand around your legs tightens. You cry out. But the sound is swallowed by the room itself, as if the air refuses to carry your voice. Then. A sudden burst of heat. The lantern's flame explodes upward, blazing white gold. The sand recoils violently, hissing like burned flesh. The spirit hisses with it. Light. You dare bring light to my desert. The sand instantly retreats. Two choices. Both terrible. Both waiting. But the desert spirit made one mistake. It thinks you only have those two. Your heart hammers so loudly it almost drowns out the scratching at the door. Almost. The sand fingers edge forward again, testing the lantern's radius, curling like hungry insects just beyond the light. You breathe shakily. Too fast. Too loud. The spirit hears it. Your fear is ripening, it purrs through the door. I taste it in the air. The door frame pulses. Sand leaks in thicker streams. You glance at your family. Still asleep, too still, like dolls placed carefully into rest. You can't open the door. You can't let the sand take you. So you do the only thing left. You lift the lantern. The flame shivers, then strengthens, growing taller as if recognizing your intent. When you stand, the sand recoils again. The spirit snarls. No, it says, voice tightening. Do not lift that light. It burns my path. Your hands tremble, but you keep the lantern raised. Good, you whisper. Then watch. You hold the lantern higher. Toward the ceiling. Toward the shadows. Toward the crawling sand. The flame erupts in a sudden, violent column of gold. And the entire room responds, the sand on the floor writhes. The footprints vanish. The air thickens with heat. The spirit screams from the other side of the door. A deep, layered, ancient roar that rattles the very bones of the house. Stop. But the flame only grows brighter. And something inside the lantern. Something that was sleeping. Wakes. A second flame coils inside the glass, white as bone, twisting around the gold like a serpent of light. You've never seen that before. Your ancestors warned. The lantern is more than a light. It is a watcher. But it wakes only for the marked. And you are marked. The lantern's awakened flame projects a streak of white fire directly at the door. Crack. The door splits down the center. Not from the spirit pushing. From the lantern's light cutting through it. The sand dissolves in midair, burning away like smoke in wind. The spirit shrieks. Not in rage this time. In pain. You dare turn the old fire against me? The white flame flickers again. Then shoots out in a sudden blast. The door explodes outward. Sand pours back into the night like fleeing animals. For the first time. The spirit retreats. You stand, breathless, lantern blazing. Silence. Then. A whisper behind you. Soft. Human. Terrified. What is happening? Your little sister sits up, rubbing her eyes. She's awake. But behind her, in the corner of the room. Something is watching. A shape of sand clinging to the wall, tall and thin, trembling, not fully gone. The spirit's voice returns in a whisper. This is not over, Shadow-bearer. Light cannot protect you forever. The sand shape's head slowly turns toward your sister. The lantern's flame sputters, weakening. You realize the truth. It wasn't trying to escape. It was trying to distract you. The spirit doesn't want you now. It wants someone unmarked. Someone unprotected. Someone easy. Your sister. The sand shape detaches from the wall. Silent. Smooth. Hunting. And the lantern in your hand flickers again, dimmer. Dimming. The flame is dying. And the spirit knows it. Your sister blinks slowly, half awake, unaware of the thing crawling toward her. A tall, shaking silhouette of sand that clings to the wall like a wet shadow. It moves without footsteps. Without sound. Without mercy. The lantern sputters in your hand. Gold light collapsing inward, shrinking, faltering. The spirit senses it immediately. Its voice slithers across the room, thin and cold. Light fades. Shadows remain. And I will take what you cannot protect. The sand shape unfolds from the corner, stretching its limbs with unsettling delicacy. As if savoring the moment. You rush forward. The lantern flickers again. No. Not now. Not now. Not now. Your sister looks up at you, confused, still trapped between dreaming and waking. Why are you? Her words stop. Because she finally sees it. The sand spirit's face tilts toward her. Those hollow pits where eyes should be. Those dark, gaping holes where no mouth exists. The long, bending neck reaching too close. She freezes. Her breath catches in the back of her throat. You feel the terror crash into her like a wave. The same ancient fear that marked you, now reaching for her. The spirit breathes in. A slow, hungry inhale. It isn't smelling her. It's claiming her. No, you shout, raising the lantern. But the flame inside is barely a trembling ember. The spirit's voice deepens. The lantern wakes for the marked. She is not marked. She is mine. Sand whips across the floor. Fast, like a striking snake. It wraps around your sister's wrist, spiraling up her arm toward her throat. She gasps. Silent. And her body goes rigid, the lantern flickers uselessly in your hand. The spirit whispers into her ear. Do not fear. Fear is what I take. And the sand around her begins to tighten. Your heartbeat stutters into panic. You dart forward. But the sand wall rises between you and her, an instant barrier that slams you back. You hit the ground hard. The lantern nearly slips from your grip. The spirit leans over your sister. Its shadow stretching long, splitting, twisting into shapes you don't recognize. She trembles. A tear slips down her cheek. The spirit drinks in her fear. Visibly growing darker, fuller, more solid. You cannot stop this, it croons. You cannot even save yourself. And then. A spark. Small. Weak. White. Inside the lantern. Your breath catches. No. Inside your chest. Something burns behind your ribs. A warmth rising suddenly, spreading outward. The white flame inside the lantern mirrors it. Glowing brighter, as if pulled from you, not from oil or wick. The spirit snarls. No. You gave me your fear. You shake your head slowly, pushing yourself to your knees. No, you whisper. I didn't. Because the warmth in your chest isn't fear. It's something older. Something you felt before in flashes. When you stood before dangers. When your voice shook but your feet stayed still. When you survived the desert's gaze. Courage. Tiny. Fragile. But yours. The lantern flame responds. It roars back to life. White gold, fierce, blinding. The sand wall shatters. The spirit reels backward, screaming. Your sister collapses into your arms as the sand recoils. The spirit shrieks from the far corner, its form flickering violently. You cannot hold the old fire. It will burn you too. The lantern shakes violently. As if the flame inside is no longer fully under your control. Your sister sobs into your shoulder. The spirit gathers itself for one last strike. A massive, towering surge of shadow sand aiming straight for you both. The lantern's flame spirals upward. Wild. White. Dangerous. Alive. You don't know if it will save you. Or consume you. The flame is no longer a flame. It is a living thing. And it wants out. The lantern bucks in your hand like a trapped animal. Heat pulsing through the metal handle, almost painful. Your sister clings to you, trembling so violently you feel each shiver as if it were your own. Across the room, the spirit gathers itself. Its shape collapsing inward, then rising taller, wider, darker. A tower of shifting sand and shadow. It no longer resembles a human silhouette. It is something older, something whose form the desert forgot long before history began. A voice rises from inside the mass. Layered, furious, echoing. You were nothing in my desert. A child. A breath. A flicker. The sand around it swirls into a storm. And now you dare burn with the old fire? The lantern's white flame erupts upward. Twisting like a serpent made of sun, coiling, writhing, clawing at the glass. It wants free. It wants the spirit. Your sister buries her face into your shoulder. You pull her closer, shielding her as the spirit strikes. Hum. A massive wave of shadow sand surges forward, crashing through the room with the force of a sandstorm. Wood splinters. Curtains tear free. Your mat disintegrates into dust. But the wave never touches you. The lantern explodes with light. A barrier of white gold fire surrounds you both, shining so brightly it casts a second sun across the room. The sand wave hits the barrier. And stops. Frozen mid-surge. The spirit howls. This time not in power. In panic. No. No, you fool. That light is not yours to command. The barrier tightens. Pushing the sand wall back, forcing the spirit to retract. Your sister peeks over your shoulder and gasps. The spirit is shrinking. The white flame burns it away. Grain by grain. You cannot. Its voice trembles now, the layers unraveling. You cannot wield the desert's oldest fire. You stare down at the lantern. At the impossibly bright flame swirling inside like a living soul. And for the first time, it looks back. Not with eyes. With presence. With awareness. With choice. A whisper fills your mind. Not words, not language. Let me. You swallow hard. You understand. The flame is not asking for permission. It's asking for release. But the spirit senses this, and it claws desperately at the floor, the walls, the air. Trying to anchor itself to the physical world. If you open that lantern, the spirit roars. You will burn with me. The lantern shakes harder. Your sister whimpers, clutching you. Her fear tugs at your resolve. The spirit lunges. One last time. With everything it has left. A tidal wave of black sand, shrieking, collapsing the room, tearing through walls, aimed to swallow you whole. You act. Not with thought. Not with fear. But with instinct. You lift the lantern high. And open it. The latch snaps free. The lid swings upward. The flame leaps. Not out. Up. A pillar of white fire blasts into the ceiling, bursting through wood and thatch like they're made of paper. Light floods every corner of the room, every crack, every grain of sand. The spirit screams. Its form unravels. Sand turning to smoke. Smoke turning to nothing. Nothing turning to a hollow, echoing void. No. No. The old fire does not forgive. And then silence. The sand drops dead to the floor. The voice dies with it. The room collapses into stillness. The flame shrinks down, softening, dimming, retreating back into the lantern's bowl. Gentler. Smaller. Quiet. Like a beast tamed. Silver flame. A color no lantern should ever hold. A color that means something is awake now. Inside you. Your sister's trembling slows. She blinks up at you, eyes wide and wet. Is it gone? She whispers. You want to say yes. You want to lie. But the silver glow inside the lantern pulses softly. Once, twice. Like a heartbeat. Your heartbeat. For now, you manage. But you don't get to say anything more. The lantern flickers. Your sister jerks back, startled. You lift it slowly. The silver flame shimmers. Not bright, not threatening. But watching. It leans toward you, stretching like a curious thread of light pressed against the inside of the glass. Testing the barrier. Studying you. Your breath hitches. What did I release? You whisper. Your sister shakes her head, still pale. I thought lantern flames were only yellow. They are, you say. Always. The silver fire curls around itself, like it heard you. Like it disagrees. You glance around the ruined room. Sand scattered like ashes. Splintered wood. The walls torn and cracked. Your parents still unnaturally asleep. But nowhere. Nowhere. Is there the shape of the spirit? You clutch the lantern tighter. The silver flame flicks upward sharply. And suddenly. Your vision fractures. Not pain. Just a shift. The room around you fades. Colors draining. Shadows stretching. Air shimmering like heat over dunes. Your sister's voice echoes distantly. Hello. Can you hear me? Then. You see it. Not with your eyes. With the mark inside you. Through the silver flame. For a moment you stand in two places at once. Your home. And the desert. Endless, moonlit sand. A sky too close, too full, too watching. Wind curling in whispers you can almost understand. On the distant dunes. A shape. Fading. Crumbling. Still alive. The sand spirit. It is not dead. It is retreating. Regenerating. Because you did not destroy it. You banished it. A low muttering rises from its half-formed body. You cannot keep the fire. It will hollow you. Burn you from inside. Until you belong to the desert. Its voice cracks apart like sand slipping from a dying hand. The silver flame in your lantern pulses violently. And the vision snaps away. You crash back into your body, gasping. Your sister grabs your shoulders. What happened? You scared me. You stare at the lantern. It glows faintly. Calmer. Almost peaceful. But your hands are shaking so hard you nearly drop it. You whisper. It's not over. Your sister swallows, nodding shakily. What do we do? Before you can answer. A cold wind sweeps through the broken doorway, carrying with it a smell you instantly recognize. Desert air. But not from the outside world. From the dreaming sand. Your heart drops into your stomach. At the threshold of your shattered door, a trail of fresh sand appears. Not footprints. Not claws. Symbols. Drawn one by one, as if an invisible finger is writing on your floor. Your sister steps behind you, clutching your arm. The silver flame trembles. The sand symbols pulse softly, forming a single line. The path opens at dawn. Your mouth goes dry. What path? Your sister whispers. You stare at the forming words as the sand twists again, adding a second line. The marked must walk. Your sister grips you harder. No. No. You're not going anywhere. But the sand continues, swirling into one final symbol. It glows faintly. A crescent shape. A doorway. A warning. And a command. Or the spirit walks for you. The silver flame flares. Brilliant, urgent, alive. You understand. You are not safe if you leave. Your family is not safe if you stay. And the spirit will rise with the next sunrise. You have one night left. One night to decide whether you will follow the path. Or let the desert take everything you love. The night of the path. For a long moment, the house is silent. Not peaceful silent. Holding its breath silent. The sand symbols on the ground glow faintly, as if tasting the air, as if waiting for your answer. Your sister's nails dig into your arm. Don't go, she whispers. Please don't go. You keep staring at the final glowing symbol, the crescent doorway. It hums inside your skull, like a note only you can hear. The silver flame in the lantern flickers sharply. Almost impatient. Almost hungry. You swallow. I don't think I have a choice, you say quietly. But your voice feels too small for the room. Too small for the desert's attention. The wind changes. A sudden gust blasts through the broken entrance, cold, dry, carrying the scent of dune night and moonlight. It scatters the sand symbols, but the glowing marks remain, etched into the floor like scars. You lift the lantern. The silver flame rises with you, thin and silent, stretching again toward the unseen horizon. Your sister wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. Then I'm coming too. No, you say instantly. She steps back like you slapped her. Why not? I can help. You saw what happened, you whisper, voice cracking. It touched you. Even for a moment. And if it comes near you again, I. The words fail, but the fear doesn't. Your sister looks down, blinking fast. She understands. She hates it. But she understands. You take a breath. Slow. Shaking. I need you to stay here. Keep everyone safe. If I don't come back. You try to finish the sentence. You can't. Your sister does it for you, in a trembling whisper. I'll follow. You close your eyes. Don't. The lantern warms your palm gently, like reassurance, or a reminder of its claim. The lantern shows the path. The silver flame bends toward the doorway, thin as a ribbon, pointing outward. Guiding. Pulling. The sand on the floor shivers, then flows toward the open air, drawing a new symbol just outside the threshold. A spiral. A journey. A warning. Your sister's breath catches. It's already begun. You step to the doorway. The moment your foot crosses the broken threshold, the world shifts. The night sky outside wavers. The village blurs. A thin line of silver light unfurls across the ground, stretching straight into the desert beyond the fields. A path that should not exist. A path only you can see. A path that leads into the dreaming sand. Your sister grabs your sleeve one last time. Her voice cracks. Promise me you'll come back. You look at her. Not at the trembling fear in her eyes. Not at the knowledge that dawn is ticking closer. But at the person who matters more to you than breath. I'll try, you whisper. It's the only honest answer. The first step. The wind rises behind you. The lantern ignites brighter, a sudden burst of silver flame that floods your vision. Your heart pounds once. Twice. Then steadies. Stronger. Like the flame. You inhale the desert air. And you take the first step onto the silver path. As you do, a sound echoes through the dunes. A distant rumble. Not thunder. Not wind. A voice. Deep as shifting earth. Old as the first dune. Waiting. Calling. Marked 1, you freeze. Your lantern flares in answer. The voice comes again, closer this time. Walk quickly. The desert stirs. Dawn will not wait. Your stomach drops. Because suddenly, you realize the spirit is not the only thing awakening in the sand. And the path you are walking may lead you to something far worse. The silver path gleams faintly beneath your feet, cutting through the dark like a vein of moonlight. The dunes rise on either side, tall, silent, watching. The lantern is warm in your hand. Warmer than before. Like the flame inside is reacting to something ahead. Or preparing. You swallow hard and keep walking. The night is too quiet. Even the wind seems afraid to breathe. Then, the ground shifts under your boots. A soft tremor. Barely there. But enough to send your heart jumping. The voice returns. Closer. You should not have taken the flame. You stop. Your breath fogs in the cold desert air. Who are you? You whisper. The dunes ahead ripple, like something massive is moving beneath them. Something that has never known footsteps. Something that has always belonged to the sand. The voice answers. I am the one the spirit fled from. Your chest tightens. It fled. The sand spirit, the thing that invaded your home, was running from something. The lantern quivers violently in your hand. The silver flame rises, twisting into a thin, sharp shape. Pointing. Warning. You grip the handle tighter. If you're stronger than the spirit, you call out, then why warn me? Why talk to me? A pause. Then the dunes heave upward. Not breaking, not exploding. Just shifting, as if lifting their face to meet the moonlight. And from beneath the crest of the nearest dune, a deep, low hum rolls through the air. You carry a piece of me, the voice says. Your stomach drops. No, you whisper. This flame isn't yours. The desert laughs. A sound like sand sliding down a mountain. It is now. The flame reacts. The lantern jerks violently. The silver fire leaps against the glass, desperate, no longer curious, no longer calm. It presses toward the dunes like a compass needle yanked by a magnet. You stagger back from the force of it. What do you want from me? You shout. The sand directly in front of you rises, slowly, painfully, forming a shape. Not a body. A silhouette. Vast. Inhuman. A form made of rippling dunes and moonlit grains. A head without features. Arms like shifting cliffs. A torso that never stops flowing. And where its heart should be. A faint silver glow. Like your flame. Like your mark. I want, the towering figure rumbles. What belongs to me? Your pulse thunders. I didn't take anything, you say, voice cracking. The figure tilts its faceless head. You lit the lantern of the deep sand. You accepted its fire. You opened the path. You awakened the mark. Now. Its body leans forward, sand pouring off it in waves. You must finish the ritual. Your throat goes dry. Ritual? The sand giant's voice softens, almost regretful. At dawn, either you walk into the heart of the desert. Or the desert walks into you. The flame inside your lantern explodes upwards, silver and frantic. Your legs tremble. The choice becomes clear. Run back home and risk the spirit rising again. Walk forward and face a power older than your world. Or stand frozen and let the sand choose for you. The giant lowers its massive arm. Not attacking. Not reaching. Pointing. Toward a distant dune glowing faintly with silver light. The spirit retreats there, the giant says. It reforms. If it reaches its full shape before sunrise, your village will be the first to fall. Your chest tightens painfully. Your family. Your sister. Your home. You grip the lantern until your knuckles ache. The silver flame leans forward, urging you toward the glowing dune. The giant's final words shake the sand under your feet. Walk, marked one. The desert wakes with the dawn. You take a breath that tastes like fear. And step forward. The dune of returning shapes. The silver path tightens beneath your feet, narrowing from a trail, to a thread. It hums faintly with each step you take, as though guiding your heartbeat into a rhythm the desert understands. Behind you, the sand giant sinks slowly back into the dunes. Its massive form dissolving into flowing grains, its voice fading like the last echo in a deep cavern. Do not look back. The moment its words die, the desert becomes silent again. Painfully silent. Even your breath feels too loud. The path warps. As you walk, the dunes around you begin to shift, not with wind, not with movement, but with memory. Shapes flicker at the edges of your vision. Your home. Your mother cooking. Your sister laughing by the well. A night sky full of constellations you know by heart. All of them, made of silver sand. All of them, drifting away the moment you notice them. You clench your jaw and force yourself forward. You know this feeling. The spirit did this inside your dreams. Inside your house. Inside your mind. It wants to pull you off the path. Because now, you aren't prey. You're the one walking toward it. The dunes begin to rise. After what feels like an hour. Or a heartbeat. You crest a dune and freeze. Below you stretches a massive basin of sand. Circular, perfect. Unnatural. At its center. A tall, half-formed shape kneels in the sand. Its body is cracked. Its limbs are barely holding their shape. Wind blows through holes where skin should be. But you recognize it immediately. The sand spirit. Reforming itself. Healing. And at its core, inside the hollow of its chest. Its flame is missing. Your flame. The lantern in your hand thumps like a heartbeat. The silver flame twists eagerly. Like a wolf leaning toward its prey. But the spirit stirs. Slowly. Weakly. Its head rises, grains sliding down like tears. Its voice is a faint hiss. You should have fled. While the night still hid you. Your grip tightens on the lantern. I'm ending this, you say. The spirit laughs softly. No. You are completing it. Before you can react, the dunes around the basin ripple like the surface of a tossed sheet. Sand streams upward. Forming symbols in the air. Rings. Circles. Marks. Your mark. The same one that burned into your skin. You lift your arm instinctively. And the mark on your wrist glows in answer. The spirit shudders. You bear the desert's claim, it whispers. You cannot fight me and win. Its voice cracks into sand dust. But you can fight, and lose, slowly. The symbols in the air collapse into the basin floor, drawing an enormous circle around you both. A ritual circle. A battlefield. A binding. The spirit rises shakily, limbs stabilizing, face forming from shifting sand. Step into the circle, it says. You hesitate. The silver flame pulses violently, almost like a shove. And suddenly, you understand. If you don't enter willingly, the circle will pull you in by force. Piece by piece. Thought by thought. Your sister's face flashes in your mind. Your parents asleep on the floor. The sand creeping under the door. You step forward. Into the circle. The spirit's voice becomes a whisper of triumph. It begins. The lantern flares so bright you flinch. The silver flame swelling, twisting upward. Forming the faint outline of a shape beside you. A shape of light. A presence. A guardian. A memory. A second spirit. You can't tell. But it stands with you. Inside the circle. Across from the sand spirit. And the desert holds its breath. The circle of two flames. For a moment, everything is still. The basin of sand. The towering dunes. The moon hanging too close, too bright. And between you and the spirit. A circle carved by the desert itself. The symbols along its rim pulse softly, beating in time with your mark. And with the silver flame inside your lantern. The outline of the figure beside you. The shape born from your flame. Grows clearer. Its form is human-shaped. But made of rippling silver fire. Featureless. Silent. Watching. A guardian. Or a reflection. Or, something the desert has been waiting centuries to reclaim. The spirit across from you staggers, its half-formed body cracking down the chest. You bring a second flame, it hisses. How foolish. The silver figure does not move. But the flame inside your lantern flares. Sharp, warning, protective. You tighten your grip. What is it, you ask, voice barely steady. What did I summon? The spirit laughs. A sound like sand grinding between bones. You did not summon it. You inherited it. Your heart jumps painfully. Inherited? Yes, the spirit whispers. From the one who lit the lantern before you. You freeze. Before you. No one has used this ritual for generations, you say. That's what the elders. The elders forgot, the spirit interrupts. The desert remembers. A cold shiver runs down your spine. The silver figure turns its head slightly toward you. As if acknowledging your confusion. Your fear. Your bloodline. Your bloodline. A sudden, sickening thought crawls across your mind. You mean someone in my family? The spirit's cracked face twists. The lantern is passed only to those the desert marks. Those born with a flame inside them, you were never chosen. You were awakened. Your breathing stutters. Your sister's face flashes in your memory. Her trembling hands. Her tear-filled eyes. Her whispered, "Don't go." Does she carry this, too?